Hey y'all, today we're going to talk about taxes. What we're going to do is we're going to break them down into 3 tax buckets. Don't worry, we're going to simplify this. So the first bucket we have up here is what we refer to as the taxable bucket. This is generally money that you've already paid taxes on, but it is growing and you're paying taxes on the gains that you've earned. So typically this is going to consist of anything that's subject to capital gains, dividends, interest that you might earn at the bank, anything like that. Basically anything that's 1099. The second bucket that we refer to is what we call the tax-deferred bucket. Now, the tax-deferred bucket simply is the money that you have said, I don't want to pay tax on this right now. I'm going to throw it into this bucket and it's going to grow over time. And then later down the road, whatever the value is fully taxable. 100% of that money is taxable because you've never actually paid tax on that money before. So the benefit of that is that you've avoided paying tax on that money all of those years. The downfall is when you take it out, it's 100% taxable at whatever tax brackets are at the time. The last bucket we have is what we call tax-free or tax-exempt. Now, with this bucket of money, you say, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to pay my taxes right now, so I'll have less money, but I'm going to pay them now at today's brackets, whatever they are, and then the money from that point forward will grow. In the future, whatever that amount is completely tax-free. So you will owe 0 taxes on that. So in this bucket, in the tax-free bucket, that's reserved for Roth IRAs or Roth 401ks, municipal bonds. But the important thing you have to understand about municipal bonds is that although they generally grow tax-free, they are still counted toward the amount of your Social Security is taxed. So in essence, when you look at the big picture, if you're collecting Social Security, they are not completely 100% tax-free. The other thing that belongs in that bucket, that tax-free bucket that is tax-free, as long as it's taken the appropriate way, is the cash value from life insurance. So that's the 3 tax buckets: taxable, tax-deferred, and tax-free. Let me jump back real quick to tax-deferred because you're probably thinking what belongs in that. That's going to be anything that you have deferred paying taxes on. So that would be your 401k, IRA, TSP, TSA, 457, deferred comp, the list goes on and on. You have never actually paid tax on that money. So when planning for retirement, it's very, very important that when you do planning, you are diversified within these tax buckets. The financial world is really good about talking about investment diversification, but one thing that they do not often talk about is tax diversification. You want to make sure that your buckets are as diversified as possible. Now, the majority of people that I see, other than their primary home or their primary residence or real estate, the majority of their life savings belongs right here. It's usually a 401k or a 403b, some type of employer-sponsored plans that they've never paid taxes on. So later down the road, when they're retired and they start pulling money out of it, how much of it is taxable? 100% of it. At what tax bracket? We don't know, whatever it is at the time. So in the next segment, we're going to get a little bit more detailed into how to diversify and why it's so important to have tax diversification. But today I really wanted to just have you understand the basics of the 3 different tax buckets, because I'm going to refer to those quite a few times over the coming weeks. So stay tuned for next week and we will get through that and we'll talk more about tax diversification. So that's it for today. Hope you learned a lot.